Hello there, it's another edition of Eye on Port, proudly brought to you by West Blue Consulting, Ghana Oil Company Limited, GOIL, and Ghana Community Network Services. People, this week, the people of the Republic of Niger says it's about time they rekindle the business partnership they have with Ghana. 20 top economic operators in that country have called the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to rekindle this kind of partnership, business partnership between the Niger economic operators as well as Ghana's economic operators, particularly with the ports. A high-profile delegation consisting economic operators from Niger have made a historic visit to the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. The delegation was welcomed by the Director General of Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority and major stakeholders in the ports and transport logistics industry, including the Commissioner of Customs, the Chief Executive Officer of Ghana Shippers Authority, Director of TEMA Port, President of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, and Commander of the Marine Railways and Port of the Ghana Police Service. The Nigerian economic operators first engaged major actors of Ghana's trade and maritime industry about issues concerning the transit trade, which Niger is a major beneficiary. The Acting Director General of Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Michael Luguje, said his outfit, in collaboration with other responsible actors, are putting all measures in place to ensure an efficient and secure transit trade.
Tout le confort et tout ce qui concerne l'activité de passage des marchandises par le port.
And this is an assurance that everything or every measure is going to be put in place to make sure that the transit cargo from our port to Niger is going to be smooth. And you have also heard from the Commissioner of SEFs, who has given his assurance about all the plans, necessary plans that he's putting in place to make sure that your goods travel from our port to your country safely and smoothly.
Et bien sûr, chez vous, par le CLU.
Benonita Besmak, CEO of Ghana Shippers Authority, said Ghana is positioning itself to be the best trade route in the sub-region and urged Niger to partner for that vision.
Nous, on veut que le corridor du Ghana soit le meilleur dans les sous-régions.
We want the Ghanaian corridor to be the best in the sub-region for both import and export. Therefore, please take advantage.
Commissioner of Customs Isaac Renzel complained about the phenomenon of cargo diversion and said his outfit is assessing how the economic operators of the Sahelian region can collaborate to eliminate the canker.
Notwithstanding all these challenges, one of the most difficult ones is diversion. We've taken so many steps to address some of these things. Very soon I will come to the Niger capital to meet you. How best we can address these diversions within the system.
President of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, Kwabena Ofosu Apia, called for regular engagement with all players to ensure maximum satisfaction for both the customer and the state.
We have to dialogue, and dialogue so that everybody gets, a certain level of satisfaction.
The commander of the Marine Police and Railways Unit of the Ghana Police Service, Chief Superintendent Joseph Abibio, assured the Nigerian economic operators that Ghana Police will continue to ensure that the corridors are safe and secured for business.
With us from the police side, we make sure that our country is safe for you to come and do your business. Since our core mandate is maintenance of law and order.
The Nigerian economic operators discussed some challenges they encounter on the corridor that impede smooth and efficient transportation of cargo, including payment of $200 tax on transit trade. The Director of Transport of the Niger Shippers Council praised Ghanaian authorities for being committed to providing a smooth corridor for the transit trade.
Nous allons aller ensemble, toute la délégation.
We are going back together as a delegation to send this very good news that the Port of Ghana and then the authorities of Ghana have promised, and then they've honored their promise.
Voilà ce qui nous a amené.
The delegates were taking round the operational areas of the TEMA port, including the magnificent TEMA port expansion site, being constructed by Meridian Port Services, MPS. So if you recall, some time back, not too long ago, a couple of months back, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, through its vision, decided to embark on a trade mission to the Republic of Niger to quote a lot of their business through the ports of Ghana. Now that's yielding some results. The economic operators then reciprocated that visit by coming to Ghana to see how best they can also meet all the stakeholders involved, also have a first-hand experience of what the ports of Ghana have that can facilitate their trade. After engaging the stakeholders and the top people within the port and maritime industry in TEMA, they then moved to TAKORADI to look at what they have also there. The delegation of high-profile economic operators of Niger also made a grand visit to the TAKORADI port, where they met with the management there. The acting marketing and public affairs manager of TAKORADI port, Peter Amubediako, highlighted the capacity of TAKORADI port to handle bulk cargo for the transit regions.
From 2002 up to 2017 December, we have handled so far 1.3 million metric tons of transit cargo in Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso.
He said the port is undergoing massive expansion, including the TAKORADI container terminal and an ongoing Atlantic multi-purpose terminal, which would position the TAKORADI port to be more capable of handling multiple times of the cargo it is currently handling. Director of Transport of the Niger Shippers Council expressed pleasure in the port of TAKORADI's transformed attitude towards container cargo, saying it has boosted Niger's enthusiasm to do business through the TAKORADI port. The director of TAKORADI port, Ebenezer Afedzi, revealed that TAKORADI port possesses the deepest berth in West Africa, capable of receiving larger vessels of bulk cargo.
TAKORADI then now we have 16 meters. So even if a ship is carrying 120,000 tons of cargo, we can take it in TAKORADI port.
The delegation also met with stakeholders in the port business at TAKORADI to discuss issues concerning the transit trade. David Songotu, representative of Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to the Sahelian regions, advised the stakeholders to take advantage of the Niger market and serve them well because they have the fastest growing economy in West Africa.
It's a Ghanaian responsibility to extend the port of TAKORADI to Niger. Extending the port of TAKORADI to Niger simply means that we facilitate and be sincere with our chargers so that they will be able to do their work.
The Nigerian economic operators were taking on tour of the port of TAKORADI and later giving a boat cruise where they saw for themselves the massive infrastructure development of the port of TAKORADI, including the ongoing TAKORADI port on-dock multi-purpose container terminal being built by Ibistic Crawley Company Limited. So indeed, a lot of efforts is being made by Ghana's ports and maritime industry to look at how best they can woo a lot of transit business through the ports of Ghana. We can only wish the stakeholders well in their very fruitful endeavor that they are embarking upon. Away from that, you know that this particular time that we are in, it's all CTN time. Wherever you pass is cargo tracking note, cargo tracking note, and cargo tracking note. Customs says that they have rolled out this cargo tracking note beginning 15th of October. That's the past Monday. Cargo tracking note is being enforced by Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority. However, they say that only 65% of imports is being affected, and that's being supplied by 5% of importers. So 65% of imports being affected and 5% of importers are being affected. About 95% of importers are not being affected, but they only import just about 35% of imports. The Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Manuel Kufinti, has disclosed that CTN numbers on import would only be required from importers whose imports exceed 36 TEUs per year from the country of export. That means importers who import less than 36 TEUs per year would be exempted from CTN compliance. He made the statement during a media engagement in Accra on the date of implementation, 15th October 2018.
Importers whose imports from records exceed 36 20-foot equivalent units per year will be required to obtain a CTN number in the country of export. This means that any importer who imports less than 36 20-footer containers or 18 40-footer containers per year is exempt from CTN compliance.
Emmanuel Kofinti said the GRA found it necessary to sensitize the general public through the media, having previously engaged stakeholders in the CTN process. The Commissioner General of GRA told the pressmen that the partnership between the GRA and Messrs. Cargo Tracking Note Limited has given birth to a risk assessment system that intends to boost the efficiency of customs clearance processes, eliminating more practices in the import chain.
The CTN system provides the following benefits: reliable trade database, reliable and transparent data validation source, real-time trade data, opportunity for short turnaround time for clearance at the ports, and reduction in costs at the ports, since payment of demurrage fees will be a thing of the past.
He said the CTN policy is going to benefit not just the GRA, but other state institutions such as GPHA, Bank of Ghana, and the Ministries of Health, Trade and Industry, and Defense in ascertaining information relevant to their progress.
For the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, CTN will help in a broader and more comprehensive view of global logistic chain and timely receipt of manifests for effective planning. For the Ministry of Finance, it will help in revenue forecasting. For the Bank of Ghana, it will help in the forecasting of currency flows from the maritime industry.
The Commissioner of Customs Division of GRA, Isaac Krenzel, revealed that during the piloting of the CTN policy, over $14 million of goods were discovered to be underdeclared. So those 95% of importers who import just about 35% of imports who are currently not affected by the CTN, majority of them are members of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, that's called GUTA. They say that they've been hearing here and there that, you know, they support or they don't support. Finally, they've held a press conference to declare that they are not in favor of CTN. The Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, says it is not divided on political lines regarding its position on the implementation of the Cargo Tracking Note Policy, CTN, by the Ghana Revenue Authority. Addressing a press conference in Accra, the president of GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obing, said all the executives of the trade union are united against the CTN implementation.
We want to be emphatic here in that our opposition to the CTN is infinite. And therefore, any attempt by policy implementers to cunningly rope us into the CTN scheme in the future will be fiercely resisted.
The Ghana Revenue Authority on 15th October 2018 began the implementation of the CTN policy, which it argued will ensure trade facilitation and increase government revenue. But GUTA still maintains that its stance against the implementation of the policy remain resolute, while urging its members to go about their duties without any fear.
We hereby entreat all small and medium-scale importers who have been duly exempted from the CTN to continue with their import processes without any fear and immediately report to us any obstruction that may come their way for the necessary assistance.
Dr. Obing also asked the Ghana Revenue Authority to exempt members of GUTA from 3 20-foot equivalent unit per month quota introduced under the module. The new quota, he said, would lead to bureaucracies at the ports. So that's GUTA setting the record straight that they feel that even though they are exempted now, if they are not careful, very soon customs gradually will be drawing them closer into CTN. So they do not support CTN, says GUTA. Let's move away from CTN, and Ghana Export Promotion Authority is assuring all of us that they are making frantic efforts to ensure that we rake in about $5.3 billion of export revenue into this country. Ghana Export Promotion Authority, GEPA, has set for itself an ambitious target of $5.3 billion in trade volume of non-traditional exports by 2021. Chief Executive Officer of GEPA, Efua Asabia Asare, who disclosed this to a gathering of export stakeholders, believe that the target, though ambitious, is achievable considering the initiatives being implemented by her outfit. Speaking at the 78th National Exporters Forum in Accra, GEPA CEO reaffirmed reaffirmed her outfit's commitment to ensuring the manifestation of their mandate to ensure that the country's export sector is vibrant and contributes as it should to the nation's growth and development agenda.
These interventions and many more, which we are doing in collaboration with the Ministry of Local Government, Ministry of Finance, and Ministry of Food and Agriculture, will eventually ensure an increased and sustained supply with your support and cooperation for exports.
She said GEPA has over the past year been committed to a number of strategic interventions geared towards increasing the contribution of non-traditional exports from current $2.55 billion to $5.3 billion by the end of 2021.
An export village, it's already been built. It's almost done. And it is expected that the beets production at the Bombay will increase, thereby feeding local and international markets. These beets are made from bauxite, which is very common in that area.
Carlos Kingsley Ahinkra, Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry, said the ministry had outlined a number of strategic interventions, which included the National Industrial Revitalization Program with a stimulus fund of $200 million to support distressed but commercially viable companies, the One District, One Factory initiative, and the Export Development and Diversification Program.
The export development and diversification component of these initiatives espouses the need to evolve a clear national export strategy aimed at diversification, competitiveness, and the development of more export markets for an expanded range of products.
He used the occasion to launch the buyer portal of the Market Hub, which would serve as a one-stop shop with resources and information on international trade for exporters. And again, government is also making a lot of efforts to see how best they can revamp the TEMA shipyard. Already investors are bidding very fast and thick for that purpose.
The Ministry of Transport has met prospective investors who will help develop the TEMA shipyard and dry dock into a world-class facility at a pre-proposal conference. The Transport Ministry said the move was in line with Section 40 of the Public Procurement Authority Act to solicit a private sector partner to upgrade and develop the TEMA shipyard. Speaking at a press conference in Accra, Minister of Transport Kweku Ofori-Esiama indicated that the pre-proposal conference was part of processes to allow shortlisted firms to seek clarification on issues regarding the bidding process and select a strategic investor for ship repair, fabrication, and shipbuilding.
It is the expectation of government that the private partner that will be selected at the end of the solicitation processes will partner government to bring about the needed technology and investment that would eventually lead to the scale-up facilities at the yard.
Esiama said that the rehabilitation and upgrade of the TEMA shipyard and dry dock would help in the effective execution of the integrated bauxite and aluminium project, as well as oil and gas industry.
Government therefore considers the shipyard as a strategic national asset and seeks to rehabilitate and upgrade into a modern, well-equipped shipyard to ensure that it contributes significantly to the integrated bauxite industry as well as the oil and gas industry.
Transaction advisor David Ofosu-Dotte said that stage 1 of the selection processes, which involved the evaluation of the investor qualification statement, had been completed, with 6 out of 20 initial prospective investors qualifying to the second stage. Meanwhile, the Chief Executive Officer of TEMA Shipyard has revealed that it is the vision of the Ghana government to transform the TEMA Shipyard to world-class standard to serve the growing demands of the sea trade and oil and gas industry. After the departure of Malaysia PSC, the previous investors in the TEMA shipyard, which left the facility in an almost dilapidated state, GPHA has been stirring affairs at the shipyard to keep the company afloat and progressive. Captain Micah intimated that if the shipyard is positioned to serve to its full potential, turnaround time for vessels would increase, revenue will be generated to the state, and vast employment will be created.
So several efforts being made to improve international trade in this country, and the Port Authority is also making a lot of efforts to see how best they can expand their terminals. A divining terminal that's been put up at the KPONE area there, it's called the Unity Terminal, is also favorably coming up. It was this week inspected by the Board of Directors of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. The Board of Directors of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority have inspected ongoing works at the Unity Terminal being constructed in KPONE near TEMA. When completed, divining activities at the Golden Jubilee Terminal is expected to be transferred to the Unity Terminal. The Unity Terminal sits on a land space of 40 acres, about twice the size of the current Golden Jubilee Terminal. Divining, also called unstuffing of a container, is a process in which a landed container is opened in the presence of customs and all the contents taken out, and the divining yard is a space where the divining is done. The visit by the board members was to familiarize themselves with progress of work at the terminal. The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority board members were briefed by the contractors of the project, who revealed that work is 50% complete. Due to the increasing nature of import, coupled with the ongoing TEMA port expansion, the Port Authority is increasing its space for unstuffing of containers for a larger space. Iron Port returns after the break. Stay with us.
The International Maritime Hospital, IMA, is inviting the general public to take part in a free counseling and screening for breast cancer as part of this year's Breast Cancer Awareness Month throughout the month of October. Time is 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., Mondays to Fridays. Seize the opportunity to prevent breast cancer in this month of October with IMA. The International Maritime Hospital, IMA, is behind the GMPC Flat Community 3, Site A in TEMA. It is free breast cancer counseling and screening. Be there to prolong your life. Hope to see you there.
Hello. Good morning. This is Samantha Wendy. I am sending a purchase order from SA2 Ventures International. Our policy for new supplies is 2 containers to start with, but you must deliver within 30 days.
Don't worry at all. I'm going to get you the 4 containers within 30 days or less. Bye.
To get his pineapple slices from his country to his clients overseas, Mr. Appiah and his representatives have to complete a number of regulatory compliance procedures to various international trade stakeholders.
Hey, Baba, what's going on? Get it right? I mean, how?
Using single window, Mr. Appiah has completed all his international trade procedures through one portal. He has registered his company information, applied for the necessary permit, certificates and licenses, and all that remains is for him to get a text alert for clearance and movement of goods. And that's how simple facilitating international trade could be in a single window environment. You can offer competitive services to your trading partners in China, America, even here, in a simpler, faster, and cost-effective way. Single window, the only way to Ghana's economic growth is in our hands.
Here's innovation from GOIL that takes you further. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and GOIL has innovated to stay ahead. Expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. GOIL. Good energy.
Welcome back from the break. You're still watching Eye on Port, and next up, local news and activities around the port and maritime business. The senior minister Yawo Safomafo has stated that Ghana could soon stop exporting raw materials to the international market as part of initiatives proposed to enhance the Ghana Beyond Aid agenda. He said exports will be restricted to added value products only, as that will help Ghana maximize its gains in a trade with its partners.
As part of what we are working out on Ghana Beyond Aid, I may hint that we may decide not to export anything raw from Ghana very soon. As part of our thinking of Ghana beyond aid, we believe that we must add value to all our raw materials.
Osafo Mafu made the disclosure in a keynote address at the launch of the Ghana-India Trade Advisory Chamber in Accra. The Ghana-India Trade Advisory Chamber is a non-profit organization whose primary objective is to facilitate the building and nurturing of mutually beneficial relationships between Ghana and India. The Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Tremanting, said the Ghana Beyond Aid paradigm is structured within a robust microeconomy that has trade and investment at its focus and is pleased that the Ghanaian-India relationship is geared towards that goal.
The charge to particular our Indian business community here in Ghana is for you to lead this new paradigm shift of moving from aid to trade and investment, because you already are part of this country, and there can be no better testimony than the testimony of the Indian business community in leading this drive to attract more foreign direct investment.
Ambassador of Ghana to India, His Excellency Mike Okoye Jr. urged young Ghanaians and Indians alike to come together in a concerted effort to drive the President's goal of industrialization.
We are going to work with the Indians in partnership to grow our industry from cottage industry, small to medium scale, and then to large scale industry, so that we can use it for the benefit of the people of Ghana.
International Port News next. The International Chamber of Shipping has reassured, citing data from a new study, that there will be no shortage of jobs for seafarers, especially officers, in the next 2 decades as a result of the introduction of autonomous ships. Autonomous shipping has gone beyond the theoretical stage and is set to usher in a new business model for shipping. Advanced demonstrations in real-world deployment are increasing, even though at this stage these involve predominantly smaller vessels deployed on shorter distances. The United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations has reported that a merchant vessel was attacked in the Gulf of Aden, offshore Somalia, while transiting the area on October 16, 2018. Shots were fired at the unmanned ship from a skiff that tailed the vessel. However, as the armed guards on board the ship returned fire, the gang from the skiff abandoned their plan of boarding the vessel and departed. The captain of the ship confirmed to UKMTO that the vessel was safe. There have been injuries reported to the crew. UKMTO warned the vessels transiting the area to exercise caution. According to studies carried out by members of the IMO Global Industry Alliance, reducing the amount of time ships spend waiting outside port and at the anchorage could significantly reduce ship emissions. The study, which was recently commissioned by the Port of Rotterdam Authority and Research Institute TNO, says ships can't spend hours or days waiting at anchorage, but providing ships with regular updates about the availability of berths, especially in the last 12 hours prior to port arrival, can support significant reductions in ship and port emissions. Implementing just-in-time ship operations means ships receive information in advance so they can time their arrival at the berth. This can also allow ships to slow down, providing further reduction in the carbon footprint of shipping as well as saving fuel cost. French container shipping giant CMA CGM and Swiss ocean freight forwarder Panalpina have signed a sustainability agreement aimed at reducing their respective carbon emissions by 2025. CMA CGM aims to reduce carbon emissions per standard container TEU transported by 30% by 2025. Panalpina is one of 140 companies globally with approved science-based target, where the company, amongst other targets, commits to reduce carbon dioxide emissions from subcontracted transportation by 22% by 2025.
Here's innovation from GOIL that takes you further. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and GOIL has innovated to stay ahead. Expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. GOIL. Good energy.
Now, schedules of vessels that are sitting at the anchorage, those that are already in the port, and also those expected to come in this particular week, together with the Bank of Ghana exchange rates that you need to clear your goods out of the port, next on your screens. And that should be it for this week's episode of Eye on Pod. We appreciate your time watching the program. Also, thanks a lot to the entire crew who make the program happen.